I really want to skip all this and go to what's great about the Northeast, but this is important too. There are 13 states in northeastern America, and 6 of those are considered New England. Northeast America is notorious for being challenging for vanlifers. It's also famous for being quite wonderful as well, if you can pull it off. I have lived in the Northeast for 27 years, and it's been a challenge, as well as a wonderful experience. It's a mix. The challenges of van life in the Northeast are weather and parking. The Northeast does not have the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management land that's public access that the West has. We may have little spots of it, but it's not widely available, and the spots that we do have may not be available to the public. It's a very different world out here in the Northeast. So finding parking. Another challenge to the parking is we tend to have older cities. So if you're going to be in a city, they're more compact. They don't have the sprawl, the wider streets. They tend to be curvy and narrow and pretty densely populated. So parking, parallel parking, finding available parking can be challenging. I'd love to see more van life happening out here in the Northeast. Wouldn't you? I mean, if there could be some van life communities out here, that would be great. More meetups. That does remind me. Okay, there is a group it's for women, and there's probably a group for men too. I'd love to know about it. Please put it in the comments. So the group for women is called Sisters on the Fly. It's a fun group. Women get together with their trailers, their vans, their cars, whatever, and they go out and they have adventures together. There is a subgroup of this. If you join Sisters on the Fly, you have access to Sisters on the Curb. Sisters on the Curb is a directory of women who are inviting other women to stay on their property in their campers. So that's all over America, including the Northeast. So that's a great in for you. I'll also say that there aren't many truck stops in the Northeast. Don't know why. So if you're thinking, I'll just stay at truck stops, there aren't as many as you might think out here in the Northeast. So I think that Sisters on the Fly and other networking, other ways of getting to know people that are out here in the Northeast that already have property out here, I think that's a really good way to go, as well as the Walmarts and the Planet Fitnesses and the other establishments that allow overnight parking, and state campgrounds and national campgrounds too, but I think you'll have more competition out there. All right, the other challenge now is weather. So the weather in New England, and which is 6 of the states of the Northeast, is especially notorious for slippery in the fall from all the leaves on the ground, icy, rainy, as you can see, and snowy. We have whiteout conditions often in the winter for driving. There's ice on the roads, a lot of black ice, and it's not fun. And so starting, in my opinion, about mid to late October, depending on where you are in New England, those conditions really start to pick up. And that's why I'm gone by November 1st. That's my plan. Gone by November 1st. August is extremely hot, extremely humid. I say for me, in the next year, I may not be here. We have very high humidity here. So The Northeast is very high humidity and it gets very hot, especially if you're in a city with all that pavement, and it's oppressive. If you have any breathing difficulties, they might be aggravated out here. And when it's really hot for a long stretch and there's no rain, then cooling off in the ponds and the lakes is a bit risky because of all the algae. So the rivers and the ocean are your best bet. To make your driving safer, when driving in the Northeast, I highly recommend good tires. Good tires, all season tires. That for me is something I invest in. I have a savings account and every month I put money in it for tires. I get the best tires money can buy for all season. They make all the difference in the world. Also, you'll have an easier time out here in front-wheel drive, and it's interesting to note that most cargo vans are rear-wheel drive. The Ram ProMaster is front-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. That would be the best of all worlds. And all-wheel drive with fantastic all-season tires would be really good. And a third advantage would be to have traction control on your vehicle. You can turn on and off your traction control and keep it on. That's my suggestion, keep it on, and only turn it off if trying to pull out of like slush or dirt, or sand, then turn it off. But otherwise, turn it on. And so those three things: traction control, really good all-season tires, and either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive are your best bet for having a vehicle that will do well in the Northeast in the rain and the slippery conditions of really every season we have here can be very slippery. Also, that we're a low light region, which means it's the later in the year you are, the darker it is sooner, and the longer it takes to become light in the morning. So the days are shorter. And this means the driving conditions are a bit more dangerous, quite frankly. It also means that our health, we need light. We need sunlight to make vitamin D, and which, affects our melatonin, which affects our mood and our ability to sleep and the detoxification of our cells. So when we're not getting sunlight, it does affect our health, our mood, our sleep, which affects our driving. The Northeast is well above the latitude where we tend to make vitamin D more easily. So even on sunny days, we're very challenged to make that vitamin D at this latitude. But that's another consideration. Oh, I'm sorry to be the bearer of all of this. I really want to skip all this and go to what's great about the Northeast. But this is important too. Many of you have been asking, why is it so hard in the Northeast? Where can I go in the Northeast? And so that's why I'm talking about this. Another factor is the dirt roads. The Northeast is not all densely populated, paved urban areas like Boston and Philadelphia and Portland. It's a lot of green space, especially New England. We have the most trees per capita. So it's a lot of unpaved roads with ruts, and with all the rain we get, oh my goodness, those roads can become quite bumpy. So that's something to keep in mind as well. It's fun though. It's really great to be able to just get out so quickly, so easily, to places where there's hardly anybody, if anybody at all, and you're with trees and beautiful, beautiful wildflowers and ponds and lakes and rivers. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Those are some of the benefits. Okay, all right. It's hard to not slip into those. All right, so the dirt roads, yep, that can be a challenge. There's also mountains here. They're not as high out west by a long shot, but they can be steep, and they're dirt, and with the rain they can get a little funky, and certainly with the ice. Certainly with the ice. So yeah, so I would say if you're thinking about doing van life and in the Northeast, the typical places to stay for stealth parking, like neighborhoods, Walmart, Planet Fitness, call ahead, find out what the ordinances are, find out what the company policies are for those locations. Those are going to be fine. State parks, national parks, absolutely. And look ahead at the crime rates in the areas. So that's the strategy I would take. If it is, in my life, what I have done is I am leaving November 1st and I am returning June 1st. That way, the ice, the snow, the cold, the mud season, the eroded roads, I'm avoiding all of that. The low light, gone, no longer part of this girl's life. All right, so you could do something like that too. Or come out for a little bit of that, a little taste of that, with AAA and a plan ahead of time, so that if it's too cold, you have a backup of where you could stay. Now, some of the benefits. All right, the Northeast, in my opinion, especially New England, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. If you like green and you like wildflowers and you like soft rolling hills and lakes and rivers and ponds and ocean, it's all here. If you like birds, if you like trees that change color, it's all here. It's all here. There's in Vermont, we have the highest concentration of local organic food for the local population. So if you are here, you have ready access to local organic food through farmers markets and stores. It's great. We have moose. We have wildlife. I mean, there's plenty of wildlife here. There are black bears, not grizzlies. Yay! I mean, we love grizzlies too, but black bears are just easier for van life to deal with. There's plenty here. There's also apple picking and berry picking. The fall is splendid. It really is. So there's plenty to enjoy here. There's culture, there's music, there's art. There are universities galore that put on all kinds of events. There's plenty of music festivals. The time to take advantage of all of that does tend to be June, July, August, September, October. June, July, August, September, October, 5 months. So I would say if you're someone who has air conditioning in your rig and you can keep it going, then yeah, then the summer looks good. If you're someone who can keep yourself warm, like maybe you have a heater, right, in your rig, or a good electric blanket and you have endurance for the cold, so if you don't have a heater in your rig, then the fall is great, because it's damp and chilly. And if you're someone who has real heat, then the winter. I've heard of people doing it without heat, but they are few and far between. I think that's it. Is there anything I left out? As you can hear, there are lots of factors with New England and the Northeast. And if you have any more suggestions, any more questions, please put them in the comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. All right. Thank you so much for being here. It's a real boon for me. It really lifts my spirits to hear from you. And but I'm really looking forward to seeing you out there on the road. So remember, you can do it, and enjoy your journey.